Zarek had led the Void Stalkers for 300 cycles, but in all that time no species confused him more than humans. These two-legged beings from Terra had spread across the galaxy with surprising speed, building colonies on worlds where life should have been impossible. What baffled Zarek most was their weakness: no natural weapons, fragile bodies, and slower reflexes than most prey. Yet somehow, they survived predators that had destroyed civilizations far stronger than theirs. From the shadows of his command vessel, Zarek studied the latest reports. His kind were apex hunters, towering 12 feet tall, covered in black armor, with claws sharp enough to cut through steel. Even as children they were born ready to kill. But humans kept escaping them, and Zarek's patience was fading. Lord Alpha hissed his Lieutenant Kexter, the colony on Kepler 4, for to be ignores our warnings. They have not evacuated. Zarek's 4 eyes narrowed. Barely 2,000 humans lived there, spread across a forested continent. Destroying them would be easy, yet something troubled him. Each time they fought humans, their behavior broke every rule of predator and prey. Slowly a plan formed. Kexter, Zarek growled, his voice grinding like stone. Prepare the nursery pods. His lieutenant's mandibles clicked in surprise. Lord Alpha, we will test them. Place 3 of our youngest just past their first molt near the human settlement. I want to see how they react. Soon after, 3 Void Stalker cubs, each the size of a large wolf but far deadlier, were dropped into a clearing 2 kilometers from the human town of New Haven. They were strong enough to survive alone, but young enough to stir protective instincts in other species. From orbit, Zarek waited. If the humans fled, they were cowards. If they killed the cubs, it would show their hidden aggression. He never expected the third option. Dr. Sarah Chen, a xenobiologist, found them first during her morning plant survey. She froze when she saw the 3 dark shapes huddled together. She knew exactly what they were. Any sensible person would have run. Any survival-minded species would have called for evacuation. Instead, Sarah crouched closer. The cubs were hurt. Their carapaces were cut and scratched, and one limped on its forelimb. More than anything, they looked lost. Base, this is Chen, she whispered into her send a medic team and wildlife specialists to Grid Alpha 77. Sarah, what's happening? Asked Marcus Webb, the colony director. We have 3 Void Stalker juveniles, injured, abandoned. There was a long silence. Then Marcus said sharply, get out of there now. Those things are their babies. Sarah interrupted firmly, and they're hurt. What followed would later be remembered as either the most foolish risk humanity had ever taken or the clearest sign of their compassion. Within an hour, a full team gathered at the clearing. Dr. James Morrison, the colony's veterinarian, worked with Dr. Yuki Tanaka, another xenobiologist, to treat the cubs' wounds while security kept guard. This doesn't add up, Morrison muttered as he examined them. Dr. Morrison muttered as he cleaned a wound on the largest cub's shoulder. The young predator lay still, watching him with glowing purple eyes but showing no signs of hostility. These are apex predators, he said quietly. They should be trying to kill us. Maybe that's the point, suggested Dr. Tanaka. Look at their behavior, huddling close, barely moving, calling out. These are signs of fear, not aggression. From orbit, Zarek watched in disbelief. Instead of running or fighting, the humans were tending to his cubs. They built a small shelter, brought food and water, and even organized shifts to watch over the young stalkers. This is impossible, he growled to Kextar. They should be screaming in fear or preparing weapons, but they're caring for them. Over the next few days, his confusion only deepened. The humans moved the cubs into their medical facility, where they received constant attention. Children from the colony visited daily, bringing drawings, flowers, and little gifts. In return, the cubs began showing behaviors Zarek had never seen in his kind: playfulness, curiosity, even signs of affection. On the 5th day, everything changed. While monitoring the cubs, Dr. Chen's equipment picked up a massive energy signal descending from orbit. This is it, she said grimly. The adults are coming. The colonists had many choices. They could have fled to their bunkers or used the cubs as shields. Instead, they did something that stunned even Zarek. They formed a protective circle around the young predators when Zarek's shuttle landed in the colony's central square. He expected terror or defiance. Instead, a calm line of humans stood between him and his cubs. At the front was Sarah Chen, her small figure dwarfed by the towering Alpha. Your cubs are safe, she said firmly. They were hurt and alone. We took care of them. Zarek's 4 eyes locked on her. In centuries of existence, he had seen species fight, flee, or bargain but never protect his offspring. You cared for my young. His voice was low, almost uncertain. Of course, Sarah replied simply. They're children. Behind the humans, Zarek saw his cubs healthy, well-fed, chirping softly. One wore a collar of flowers, clearly a gift from the colony's children. For the first time in 300 years, Zarek felt something unfamiliar. Not hunger, not conquest, but a warmth spreading through his chest as his youngest cub playfully batted at a human child's toy. I do not understand your species, he admitted, lowering himself into a crouch. I left my cubs here expecting to see cowardice or savagery. Instead, you have shown me something I believed impossible. Sarah smiled gently. We only showed you who we are. Sometimes the greatest strength is choosing kindness over fear. Zarek was silent for a long time. Then, in words that would echo across the galaxy, he said, "I came to test your worth as prey. Instead, I have discovered your worth as something else entirely." Months later, the Voidstalker fleet established peaceful contact with human space. Zarek's cubs grew up knowing that strength was not only about hunting or dominance, but also compassion. And in a galaxy ruled by fear, humanity achieved something extraordinary. They turned their most dangerous predator into their fiercest protector. All because they chose to care for children that weren't their own.